want to say this before we end. To all the men, I want y'all to go home and I want y'all to think about these words that I'm going to say. Every man, every young man, is not about equal giving. It's about equal sacrifice.
Amen.
Whoa. And that kind of ties to, like, the one thing I always notice is that the most challenging thing, and it also is how we led to the concept of victory, the most challenging thing in life for a human is to imagine light in suffering. Because it's very easy for your mind to imagine all the bad things that are happening and for you to get sucked into things that are even worse, kind of like these stories. And it's 1,000 times harder to take that and sit and imagine what a positive version of reality could be and how you're going to get there. And that takes a lot of bravery, courage, and even resilience just in the moment of conversation. Because to imagine something better, you have to believe in yourself. You have to have someone beside you that believes in you. You have to be in a state of faith, and you have to understand that the suffering is temporary and that you have to make sacrifices in how you're allowing yourself to experience the world to create a better experience. And that's a conversation, like that style of conversation is incredibly challenging. But the most successful people in the world, all the CEOs, that's their literal job description, is to look at darkness in the face and see how it can be transformed into light. It's easy to talk about darkness, but it's 1,000 times harder to talk about light.
Right.
Well, Greg, let me piggyback on what you're saying, and to your point, you know, I built a big Amway team when I was in college. Y'all may not remember that business, but I had a couple hundred people on my team, and then I got into the insurance business, and I built an agency of about 200 agents across the country. And none of them joined because I convinced them how bad it would be to be broke. I had success stories that I could point to that said, somebody like Bishop, right, who went to school, got his degree, like Tyrone's story, and I would tell them about this person that's doing so well, and they would be like, I've never met anybody like that, because I know I had. Where I grew up, I met this guy who retired from the NFL, played NFL, got in business, retired at 27, and people would come just to hear, who is this guy? They never met anybody that wealthy, you know, this public speaker guy. And they would come, and most of them might not have done anything with it, but they would come to hear that story. And to the point about, I think there's plenty of ministries that are saying how bad it is if you screw up and go to prison, right? But I'm not a Christian because I hate hell.